Welcome to Mount Vernon, Washington. Our city is nestled right on the Skagit River, and it is a beautiful place to live with a wonderful community and so much to do and see.
From its rich cultural history to our great schools and natural surroundings, it's not hard to see why Mount Vernon is such a special place, one that many call home.
In this video today, put on by Mr. Bishop's 4th and 5th grade Voyager students, we will interview some very special guests that help to make our city work in the way that it does. In our video, we ask important questions in order to better understand how the city of Mount Vernon runs and functions.
Our hats go off to these amazing experts who... Luke, we can't wear hats in school, remember? It's just a figure of speech. Oh yeah, never mind. As I was saying, our hats go off to these amazing experts who took the time out of their day to be interviewed. And now, let the video begin.
Hi, my name is Skylar, and this is the Finance Department. In our interview, we spoke with the Finance Director, Doug Volosky. It's time to hear some questions. The Finance Department works hard for the city of Mount Vernon. One of the things they do is buy all the equipment for the Fire Department, Parks Department, Police Department, and many others. Also, they have a department that is called Accounts Payable, and this department buys all of the items needed for the departments in the city of Mount Vernon. You might not know that the Finance Department works with a lot of other departments. They work with other departments because they buy supplies for the departments and hire new people to work for those departments. They send you a check for utilities, such as for garbage, each month, and they work with taxes. The taxes pay for equipment our city needs, as well as many other things such as police and fire services, libraries, road maintenance, and much more. Doug Volosky shared with us what we as citizens can do for the Finance Department to help make our city a better place. We should volunteer when we can, like volunteering at the Parks program, for example. Getting involved in your city is what helps to make it stronger and better for everyone who lives here. Through our interview, we also found out that when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the Finance Department had to shut down the city offices and some of the staff had to work from home. It had a huge impact on the Finance Department. They also had to shut down the lodge in Hillcrest Park because of COVID and many other places. Thankfully, they have been able to return and are back in the offices working hard for the city of Mount Vernon. We would just like to say thank you so much to Doug Volosky for speaking with us about the very important financial work his team does for our city. Now, let's head over to the fire department and check in with Olive and Eleanor.
I'm Olivia, and welcome to the Mount Vernon Fire Department. For our interview, me, Brooklyn, and Eleanor interviewed Brian Harris, the Assistant Fire Chief.
The Mount Vernon Fire Department does many things for the citizens of Mount Vernon. They provide safety for the citizens of Mount Vernon and surrounding areas. The main mission of the fire department is protect human life, property, and environment of the citizens of Mount Vernon. The fire department does that by providing fire protection services and emergency medical services. After talking with Brian, you quickly see how much knowledge he and all his crew have about fires. For example, did you know that one of the most common fires across the nation are cooking fires? Usually, most of the fires start in the kitchen from oil fires. Brian Harris said not to put water on it since it would make the fire worse. Instead, you should put the lid on the pan.
One thing you might not know about the fire department is they have a full staff, about 55 people working at the fire department 365 days a year, and some of the workers live, eat, and sleep at the fire department 24/7. The fire department works on the holidays, and sometimes they invite their families and cook a big feast. But one of the hard parts about their job is they can't see their families all the time. The fire department also views each other like family in the stations. The fire department has 3 stations in the city of Mount Vernon. Assistant Fire Chief Brian Harris shared with us what we as citizens can do for the Mount Vernon Fire Department to help make our city a better place. He said that you can help by participating in a program to help the fire and police department. The program is similar to a cadet program where you can assist the departments that help the city. Through that program, Skagit County citizens can volunteer to help the police department and learn how to assist emergency agencies, also to volunteer for the fire department in events like earthquakes and other things. The police and fire department work together, so if you help the police department, you are helping the fire department.
Through our interview, we also found out how many calls they get in a day and in an average week. In a day, they can get up to 20 calls. If they have 20 calls in 7 days, then the math is up to 140 calls in an average week. That's a lot of calls they have to take. I'm sure they're used to it by now, but that's still a ton of calls.
We received a lot of thanks, especially from folks that we actually interact with. We'll have people stop by and just let us know they appreciate us. It's often times when we're out in public, like in the grocery store or at restaurants, people will tell us thank you for our service, and we really appreciate that. I know I can speak for all of us that we know that the City of Mount Vernon citizens do appreciate us, and we appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much to Brian Harris for speaking with us about the incredible and amazing work that this department does for the city. And now, onto the courts department.
Hello, my name is Elmira, and welcome to the Courts Department. For our interview, we spoke with Kevin Rogerson, a city attorney in Mount Vernon. Now let's get on to the questions.
What the Courts Department does for the City of Mount Vernon is they represent the City of Mount Vernon, and they also help the mayor, police, fire chief, and other city officials in a manner that complies with rules. That is a huge part of the Courts Department, is the rules that are to be followed. And those rules basically mean laws and regulations. The Courts Department also prosecutes crimes, so if there's a crime that occurs, they will take them to court and represent the City of Mount Vernon. Here's something you might not know about the Courts Department. They do a lot of research and meet their clients' goals. For example, if you want to build something or hire someone, they can help you with that. Another example is that they are actually trying to build a new library downtown, and they have to do a lot of research to make sure that the City of Mount Vernon is protected. A fun fact is that if you watch TV, you usually see lawyers acting a certain way and doing certain things. But most of the time, the Courts Department doesn't really look that way. Kevin Rogerson shared with us what we as citizens can do for the Courts Department to help make our city a better place. One thing we can all do is pay attention to what the government is doing and ask questions and learn how the government works and what the different rules are. All of that will help the City of Mount Vernon run and help everyone around us. Kevin helped us to understand that the government in the USA is only governed by the consent of the people. When you turn 18, you can vote for your leaders, and that is a lot of power. So to do that well, you need to educate yourself, both about what those leaders do and what you want them to do. All the power rests in you.
Thank you so much to Kevin Rogerson for speaking with us about the great work that you and your team does for the City of Mount Vernon. Now let's move on to the Animal Control Department.
Hello, my name is Luke, and welcome to the Animal Control Department. For our interview, we spoke with Emily Den Hartog, Mount Vernon's Animal Control Officer. Let's get into it.
One of the main things that Animal Control Department does is help return lost animals to their owners. And we also make sure that owners are taking care of their pets properly, because some owners may not know how to take care of their pets. For example, if you're abusing an animal, then Emily will teach you how to take proper care of your pet, because all pets deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. Also, Emily helps control aggressive or dangerous animals, responds to animal bites or attacks, and helps with animal licensing and so much more. Some other things that you might not know about the Animal Control Department is that Emily helps owners take care of their pets properly and helps you know how to train your pets nicely so they know how to bark, sit, shake, lay down, fetch, etc. Emily shared with us what we, as citizens of Mount Vernon, can do for the Animal Control Department to help make the city a better place. Really, the main thing is to work your hardest to be a responsible pet owner by taking proper care of your pets and cleaning up after them. Also, make sure that your pets get enough exercise and train them properly so they are safe for the rest of the community and don't run away from your house. One final fun fact about the Mount Vernon Animal Control Department is that there's only one person that works there, Emily Den Hartog.
I've always liked animals a lot. I grew up on a dairy farm and I did 4-H and always had pets as a kid. And I always wanted to work in veterinary medicine. So I actually became a veterinary technician and did that job for many years. And then I decided I wanted to change. And that's when I came over to the police department and took this job. So I have been involved with animals my whole life.
We really appreciate her hard work for our city.
We thank Emily so much for all that interesting information. Let's head over to the library next.
Hello and welcome to the Mount Vernon City Library. For our interview, we spoke with Andrea Lanise, the librarian of Mount Vernon's Public Library. Now our partner Barrett will tell you what we learned in this interview.
Hi, I'm Barrett. The Mount Vernon City Library does so many things. Andrea told us that they help gather resources and access information that people need. Sometimes that's in a book or a newspaper, a magazine, or many other resources they offer. They can help you find resources for your research project, or maybe something happened to your car and you need to get information for that. Or perhaps there's a medical issue that you want to look into. They have resources at the Mount Vernon City Library for so many things. Also, the library offers much more like CDs, DVDs, and programs like coding, art, reading, of course, story time, and Legos, which is good so you can get out of the house, office, or wherever you are just to have fun and really get your brain working. Okay, just take a moment to think of what the city would be like without a library. Actually, never mind. I don't want to even imagine it. Fun fact. One of our classmates asked what her favorite part of being a librarian was. Her answer was inspiring.
It's just helping people, and that's really why I got into it in the first place. Is I really like helping people. It makes you feel really good.
Andrea also shared with us what we as citizens can do for the library to help make our city a better place. The number one way is to simply use the library by reading and checking out books, and also telling other people about the library. It helps to keep the ecosystem of our library going. Also, they have social media, including a YouTube channel, an Instagram page, Facebook, and a newsletter you can sign up for. By interacting with them and following, you help bring awareness to the MV Library. Another interesting fact that Andrea shared with us is that their average daily number of items that are circulated is 921. That's a lot of items. Another fun fact? They have a total of 72,017 physical materials, books, audiovisual, magazines, etc. at the library. Wow.
All right, thanks guys. I hope to see you at the library.
Thank you so much to Andrea Lanise for speaking with us about the amazing work that you and your team do for our city. Now on to the Sewer and Wastewater Department.
Hello to all. My name is Elijah and we would like to welcome you to the Sewer and Wastewater Department. For this interview, we spoke with the Wastewater Operations Manager, Thierry Duransu.
You may be wondering, what does the wastewater department do? Well, the wastewater treatment plant ensures that the water in Mount Vernon is clean enough before they release it into the Skagit River. Essentially, the plant removes solids and pollutants and breaks down some of the organic matter that's in the water.
Some things that you might not know about the wastewater department is that they actually take the water from when you shower, wash your dishes, use the toilet, or anything that requires water, and put it through a purifying process. The process is as follows. Stage 1 is bar screening. In the first stage, the water is sent through a bar screen that has a 1/2-inch gap. Stage 2. The water from stage 1 is sent to a smaller 6mm screen. Then this goes to stage 3. The water that has sand and silt is separated in the grit separator. Stage 4. This is where something called a primary clarifier lets all of the heavy debris sink to the bottom and the light stuff goes to the top. The heavy stuff then gets basically slurped out by a giant industrial straw and the light stuff gets pushed off.
In stage 5, after all the debris is slurped up and swept away, it is sent to a 1,000,000-gallon tank that does a biological process where bacteria eats all the solids out. Then it is sent to stage 6, where they use the secondary clarifiers, which do the same job as the primary clarifiers, just on a smaller level. Then in stage 7, which is the final stage, They send the water to the EFLA building, where UV or ultraviolet light is used to disinfect the water. After the disinfecting, the water is then pumped out to the river. So that is the cleaning process. Another fun fact is about cleaning clogs. Cleaning clogs aren't as simple as they might seem. Clogs can be quite complicated and take up many hours of time to unclog.
Gary Duransu shared with us what we as citizens can do for the wastewater department to help our city.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that people can do. They can, just help other organizations. They can help make sure that the streets and the parks are clean. They can volunteer their time to help out at those locations. There's a lot of things that can be done, and I think volunteering is a big thing to help our community stay nice.
Thank you so much to Gary for speaking with us about the sewer and wastewater department. It was really interesting to learn about all the things they do. And now on to the police department with Avery.
Hello, my name is Avery, and this is the Mount Vernon Police Department. You might recognize this building from our animal control section of the video. For our interview, we spoke with Officer Mack, a police officer for the city of Mount Vernon. Now, let's jump right in. We asked Officer Mack, what is the main way that your department helps the city of Mount Vernon run? His answer was, we deal with everything from fights to burglaries to thefts to robberies to even animal problems or trees falling down. Basically anything that the citizens of the city might not be as equipped to handle as a police officer might be.
We also asked, what are some of the things that most people in the city might not know about your department? He had a very interesting response. We're just everyday people who know a little bit more about the law and have a little bit different training and kinda wear a different outfit to work. But you can come up and ask us things like you would ask other people.
Question number 3 was, what could we as citizens of Mount Vernon do for the police department to help make our city a better place? He said, I think the biggest thing is to reach out, call 911 or call the police department if you're seeing something that you think is wrong or if you're feeling unsafe. Because a lot of the time, there are more community members than police officers, and anytime you can see something and tell us, it really helps.
We learned that when there aren't any calls coming in, Officer Mack is always on the lookout for anything out of the ordinary or suspicious. There's a lot of that at nighttime, which is why the night can be a little bit more intimidating. They do a lot of proactive work when they are not helping other people that are calling in.
Another thing that we learned is how much of a direct positive impact police officers can have on other people's lives. Officer Mack feels his work is rewarding, and he likes knowing that he does things that leave a positive impact on an individual or the community as a whole. He enjoys making citizens of Mount Vernon feel safer, and he feels that this is one of the best aspects of his job. Thank you, Officer Mack, for serving our city and for your very interesting answers. And now we'll move on to the Garbage and Solid Waste Department.
Hello, my name is Zane, and welcome to the Solid Waste Department. For our interview, we spoke with Andy Hansen, the Division Manager from the Solid Waste Department. What does the Department of Solid Waste do for the city of Mount Vernon? Well, they pick up all the garbage from residential and commercial areas within the Mount Vernon city limits. If you run a business in Mount Vernon, then they are responsible for picking up your garbage. The Solid Waste Department is crucial in helping our city to run properly because without them, we would have a massive mess on our hands. One thing people might not know about the Solid Waste Department is that there are 2 different companies that take our garbage and recycling. A lot of folks in our city might not know that the gray can is for garbage and the blue can is for recycling. In the city of Mount Vernon, they pick up all the garbage in the city. The blue container is for recycling, and Waste Management picks that up. So we have 2 companies that operate in the city of Mount Vernon, and it's important to understand so that you know who to contact when you have an issue. Andy Hansen shared with us what we as citizens can do for the Solid Waste Department to help make our city a better place. we can make sure that we as residents understand the difference between garbage and recyclable materials. It helps because sometimes there are things being thrown away that could actually be recycled and used again in the future. Through our interview, we also found out that according to Andy, he feels that if the department did not exist, then there would be tons of trash each day that wouldn't be picked up. You would be responsible to take out your trash to the garbage dump yourself. In talking with Andy, you could tell how much he cares about his community. It is also so cool to see how passionate he was about his job. He told us this.
We continued to work through the entire pandemic. It was a challenge for the first month being in groups, but we never stopped with our collection. We always wanted to make sure that we provided collection through the entire pandemic, and as we're still working.
Thank you so much to Andy Hansen for speaking with us about the truly incredible work that you and your team do for the city of Mount Vernon. And now, let's head over to Hillcrest Park with Christian and Abby to learn about the Parks Department.
Hello, my name is Chris, and I am a 5th grade student at Jefferson Elementary School. Me and my partners interviewed Jennifer Berner, who is the Parks Department manager. Let's jump right in.
Question 1. What does the Parks Department do for the city of Mount Vernon? Jennifer told us that her department maintains all of the parks, and it also maintains the boardwalk, runs recreational activities, and makes sure that the parks equipment is safe and usable for everybody. They also check the bathrooms regularly to make sure that they're nice, clean, and usable for the public. What are some ways that you work together with other departments in Mount Vernon to help our city? The Parks Department helps when there's an emergency. For example, when the recent flood happened in 2021, they had some of their crews help with the sandbagging that another department was actually running. They also ran some 14-hour shifts to help put up the flood wall. That is a lot of work.
Crew was out there assisting Public Works to put up the flood wall.
Another thing that they do is collaborate with the engineering department as well to help fix and make new park equipment. They also collaborate with many other departments in our city to make our city a fun and clean place to live. Next, Jennifer Berner shared with us what we as citizens can do for the Parks Department to help make our city a better place. Volunteer in the programs that can help clean up parks. Another thing that we should also tell people is to maintain these parks by reducing litter in these parks and not harming wildlife. For example, don't rip off the leaves on the plants. They're there for a reason.
On behalf of my teammates, me and everybody would like to thank Jennifer Berner for helping us with this interview. We'd also like to thank her and her team for helping us learn everything about it and all the cool things that go into the Parks Department. And now on to our interview with the mayor.
Hello, my name is Jonathan, and welcome to the Mayor's Department right here at City Hall. Today, for our interview, we spoke with Mayor Jill Boudreau. Let's dive right into the questions.
What does the mayor do for the city of Mount Vernon, you ask? Well, our mayor makes sure that the departments of Mount Vernon, such as the police department, library department, wastewater/sewer department, and etc., are run well and that those departments are serving people very well. She also helps to make sure that the employees have what they need in our city. Mayor Jill makes sure that all the employees have all the equipment that is required for the work that they do. A fun fact is that the mayor's department is also known as the administration department too. You might not know that the mayor's office is actually very small and only has 3 people working within it. And those 3 people are Mayor Jill Boudreau, Peter Donovan, who helps her with her projects, and Carrie Grishkin, who answers the phone and emails and processes paperwork. By the way, huge shout out to Peter, who helped to organize many of the schedules and interviews involved in this project. Jill Boudreau shared with us what we as citizens can do for the mayor's office to help make our city a better place. First, take an interest in what the departments are doing for the city of Mount Vernon and spend more time being informed on what the mayor is doing as well. Mayor Jill announced that she put out a mayor's newsletter once a month, and what we can do is subscribe to that and we could read about what the city is doing. Being informed is really the most important thing.
And thank you to all of you keep studying, be kind to each other, and thank you to your teacher, Mr. Bishop, for leading such a great class. It's been great.
Thank you so much to Mayor Jill for speaking with us about the incredible work that you and your team do for our city. We appreciate your leadership in helping to make Mount Vernon the great city it is.
Coretta Scott King once said, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members."
There is so much discussion within the interviews that we could not include in this video, but one thing that stood out among all of them was how compassionate, kind, and thoughtful all of the city employees were. They all truly care about this city, and they help make our community great, just as Coretta Scott King says.
We also want to acknowledge some departments we did not speak with for this video, and that is the Development Services Department, who supports business development in Mount Vernon. Human Resources, who provides helpful support to all people in the city. And finally, TV10, who provides information designed to promote local community education, government activities, and community affairs.
Thank you to everyone who was involved in helping make this informational video come to life. We are living in difficult times, yet it's important that we focus on the good, the positive, and all the great things and people we have in the beautiful city of Mount Vernon, Washington.